Hello everyone, what's up? It's Tree here, of course, and today it is another episode for FALLZ, and I just want to let you guys know that this is kind of like a transition episode to get me back into the mood of YouTube again. As you may know, all of my stuff on my hard drive got wiped, so I have nothing. Woo! Yeah, I know, it's kind of bad. I lost all my outro presets, all my intro presets, and all that stuff, so I tried to recover what I could, because my entire hard drive got flashed, or wiped. I wrote zeros to it. Because I thought it was corrupt, and yeah, but basically a long story that doesn't really matter to you guys. But anyways, so basically what this video is about is just to kind of help me get back into transitioning to YouTube. You guys can expect to see from Ashes again. So I just want to go ahead and talk about some of the important issues of the server this week and of lately. So within the past couple of days, we've had a lot of major changes that some people haven't liked. So let's go ahead and start off with the obvious one. The first one I want to start off with and address would be the plot system. So let's go and start off with the wheat in it. So basically what happened is that players were able to go there and start farms there by crafting a hoe or using a gun, which just so happened to be a hoe, which is going to be changed in the future updates where they actually can't do that. But anyways, they would make farms and get food from there, and then we ended up removing them because it was never meant to be there, in all honesty. It actually just so happened to be that you guys were smart enough to figure out how to make bread. Now, there's a reason why you can't loot seeds. It's because we didn't want farming, and you guys, this is how you got seeds. This is how you got it. You took bones from skeletons which were intended to sell at the marketplace, so you could earn money. Instead, you guys took the bones and turned them into bone meal, and then you used it to get seeds by growing grass in your plot. That was not what it was meant for. You guys just so happened to find an exploit that we just really never paid attention to. We didn't think you guys would go into that much detail to figure out something like that, to figure out how to make a farm at your own house, but you guys did. Now, it is our fault for not catching on to it, though, but you guys can't be mad that your wheat, the farms got disabled, because they were never supposed to be there in the first place. And then you guys really shouldn't have, it's not really like you lost anything. Now, I didn't remove the wheat. I let the items drop. I just simply replaced the farmland with grass, because now you can no longer make farmland to grow crops and etc. That was done by another administrator, which, you know what, I don't blame him for removing them. Actually, I actually support him for taking the illegal wheat, because any of the items that you grew, or all of the wheat you grew from the seeds, are illegal, which means they're not meant to be in the server. And a perfect prime example on why it's not fair to other players, well, let's say that you have that illegal item that you weren't supposed to have, and there's someone else that's running from you. They have full hunger, you don't have any hunger, but you take some of that illegal wheat that you had and you eat all of that illegal wheat. Then you go and chase someone and kill them because you catched up with them because you ate that illegal wheat. Now that means that you just legally killed that player because you cheated, basically, because you used an exploit. So you guys shouldn't be upset that we removed the wheat farms, because it was never intended to be there in the first place, and if anything, it only benefited you. You got the, I'm positive you probably had the wheat farms far before I actually even noticed and removed them, and you probably made bread and ate the bread and etc. And you more likely killed people after you ate the bread. At least I would assume you would have killed at least someone in self-defense or something, because the FALLZ world is dangerous. But yeah, you guys should be lucky that we didn't take all of the items up to the point of you starting to use the wheat, which we can track that kind of stuff. But we didn't, because you guys would just further complain. Not to sound mean, but that's probably what would happen. So like I said, the wheat farms were never supposed to be there in the first place, and you guys just so happened to find an exploit to get to it. Now you can no longer craft bone meals, you can no longer get seeds. If we catch anyone with seeds, we will take them and remove them, though they don't have any purpose, because you can't actually plant them, but we still will take them anyways. So yeah, that's the first thing to address with the plots. So, having the wheat farms again, the reason why we don't want them is because it would completely break the game. It defeats the purpose of finding food in the map. If you were able to start your own farm, you wouldn't need to go out in the FALLZ world to get food. because most of the warp zones have water right next to them. This way you can just warp to the warp zone, get water, and then go back to your house and eat your food, because this means that basically you don't even need to leave your house. That would be stupid. That defeats the purpose of the game. And I know some people say food is hard to get. Not really. Food is actually extremely easy to get. I could easily... People say they die when they were noobs. I don't think it's that hard, honestly. Getting food is not difficult. Like, all you have to do, most people... The reasons why people say getting food is hard, in quotes, is because they stick around the newbie areas, like Brim City and Jacinto, which is the equivalent of Electro and Cherno in DayZ. Okay? You understand what I'm saying there. Basically, that people spawn so close to it and loot it so much in a day that it appears that there is little to no food inside the big city. Even though actually there is food. The problem is that most people don't want to take their time to scavenge, like a Fallout map would be, or a Fallout game. Surprising, right? You would scavenge in a Fallout-based map. I know, it's kind of weird, but so basically, you just search these skyscrapers. Skyscrapers are an easy example of food. Now, you do have to look around to find the food, of course. It's scavenging. Some floors might not even have a chest on them, like this one. The higher you go up, the better the loot gets, if there is any loot. So you can expect to find loot chests like this one. Let's see. No, look at that one. That didn't have anything, but still, that's the whole point. It's random. You can find food chests. That's the thing. You just have to look. And if you're complaining that your food is going away too fast, have you ever thought it's because you're doing this? You're sprint jumping everywhere? That's what happens. When you sprint jump, you lose your hunger about 2 times faster, let alone if you're just sprinting. If you're playing this and you're low on food, and if you just happen to run out of food but you still have full hunger, then walk everywhere. If you walk places, you can further extend out your food. This way, when you have a large supply of food, then you can start sprinting when you need to. And then when you start to run low, then you start to walk. Very simple. Now, I know walking is slow, but it also saves you a ton of hunger. Another key and pro tip to not losing your hunger is not jumping. Stay on the roads. The roads are mainly flat, and they're not mountainous, so you won't have to be doing as much jumping. As you can see, this road is very flat, and it'll continue to be flat for a good amount of time before we actually have to make a jump. When you jump, you start to deteriorate your hunger, and then you're going to have to eat food to make up for it. So if you follow the roads, you won't have to be jumping up these large mountains like this one and wasting your food trying to get up it with 5 jumps, trying to get over this little ledge, when you could just take a road to get to the same objective. So yeah, that's my comment on food. Now, I know it might sound mean, but if you're at Jacinto in Brim City, which is the equivalent of Electro in Cherno in DayZ, then don't expect to find food. People are there often. So yes, make sure you just get in, move out. You don't stay there for long. It's a simple survival aspect. It's what's going to happen. We can't really control that. So yeah. Next thing to address is the plots healing. People are very upset that we removed the ability to go back to the plots world and heal. Now, I just want everyone to know that it was a bug. That's been a bug for a very long time, but it just hasn't been big enough to actually get my attention. And I didn't know that would be big enough to get your attention. So, basically what the bug is that when you go from a warp zone, let's say you just got done with a big battle with someone, and, you know, you're out of health, and then you actually killed them, you got their loot, you don't have any food though, so you're gonna die of hunger, and your thirst just happens to go out at the same time. With a new method, you need to get a blood bag in order to heal yourself, so you need someone else. So, you decide, hey, I'll just go to the warp zone, and then go to the plots world, and then heal all my health back, and sit there and wait for someone to bring me a blood bag, and then blood bag me, and then give me a bottle of water, and then feed me. This way you don't die. That's not what we want. That completely defeats the purpose of playing FALLZ. If you're going to die, you should die. Whether it's by player, or by thirst, or hunger, or I don't know what else by. But still, if you're going to die, you're going to need to die. You shouldn't have to go anywhere that can just make you safe from death. Where you can't die to PvP, drink, or thirst, hunger, anything. That's not the scenario. We don't want that. You should be able to die anywhere you're at, no matter where you're at. With the exception of spawn, of course. Which I actually do believe you could die in if you were thirsty enough. I'm not really sure, actually. But, yeah, the plots thing was never intended to be there. So the healing there was never meant to be there, so don't be upset by that, because it was a bug the entire time. I just never got around to fixing it because we were working on other big bugs like the death respawn bug, the sticky bug, and a bunch of other bugs that you guys probably aren't even aware of that we fixed. So yeah, that's why that got disabled. I know you guys like the health regen there, but that was a bug and it wasn't meant to be there, so that's basically the short story to it. So yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys, but that's just stuff that's going to happen. That's also the reason why we're not majorly advertising the server right now. Because if we were to majorly advertise the server in a beta version, like the server is currently, it would be very bad, because it would make us look bad as well. But that's why we're not really advertising that much. We have, you know, just our select group of people that continuously play. We don't advertise that much. We bump on the forums, we leave comments and stuff, but that's just about it. We don't really try that much to advertise it, because we know the problems that people will have to go through. Like right now, like if we had it public, if we had like the death bug where people could respawn where they died at after disconnecting and reconnecting, that would be game breaking, and we wouldn't want a large group of people to deal with that problem. We would want a smaller group to deal with that problem, because if a larger group were to deal with the problem, then the server might as well just be in shambles and not even exist. That's the purpose of you guys. You guys help us test out and find bugs, which we are extremely grateful for, because you guys find bugs that we never would have even thought of, like the plots in getting bone meal from a bone from a skeleton, which only come from spawners, and then using that to make wheat. We never would have thought of that. Especially the death bug too, the death respawn bug. Never would have thought of that unless the community would have told us that, which we're extremely thankful. It's not like I'm not trying. This video isn't like us hating on you guys or anything. It's just me just telling you guys what is what. We're just saying that the plot things was just a bug and it was meant to be fixed the entire time, so you shouldn't have grown attached to it. In my personal opinion, is that it completely destroys the server ability of death, which death you should be feared of, unlike Daisy, where you can die and then get set up in about 2 seconds if you play on a private hive like Taviana or something. So yeah. Now, next thing I want to address is some stuff that people don't like, the chest system. Chest recently got updated to where they now take the same stack amounts as your inventory would. When I say stack amounts, I mean, let's say morphine, you can only have 1 of them stackable. So this way, if you want 4 of them, they all have to be 4 separate items in your inventory. Kind of like a sword. They don't stack. Now, recently we updated that to the chest as well. We never really intended it to have it not like that. We made it like that because there was a huge game-breaking bug where you could stack stuff in your inventory using a chest, kind of like the middleman. And we didn't really need that there, and it was never meant to be like that. We just, again, never got around to actually doing it, so we just so happened to update it and do that. So yeah, we're sorry about that, but this is why we're not really advertising the server as much. We're only trying to get a small group of people. This way, only a small group of people is actually being affected rather than a large group of people, because if you think about it, if you're a new player and you come into the server, you're going to have no idea that the chest didn't stack in stacks before, so you wouldn't really complain as much. You might not like the idea of it, but you wouldn't have known that they were like that before, if that were to make sense to you, because it's always been like that to them on the server. Unlike you, if you've already played, it's kind of never been like that. It's just so happened to change, which was always meant to change again. So yeah, we're sorry about that. Like I said, that's why we are not trying to advertise the server as much, because we're trying to find all the bugs and stuff. And as it says in the beta, in the tunnel, the spawn tunnel, it says at the very end that this is beta. Anything lost, including time, is not our problem. It is beta. As we warned you guys, things change a lot. There's stuff that you don't like. One thing we're changing is to where your health can actually regenerate if you have full hunger, but you still need to get a blood bag if you don't have full hunger in order to get all your health back. So this way we're kind of leaning a little bit towards the middle between teamwork and not teamwork, because right now it's kind of balanced towards teamwork because of the blood bags, this being the only way to restore health. So yeah. Anyways, guys, sorry about all the commotion that we had. Sorry about the recent changes, but they were never meant to be like how they were before. I'm just going to say that now, like I said like 1,000 times, so there's nothing to get upset from. So yeah, we're sorry about that, guys, and it's just how it's supposed to be. And we are listening to the community a little bit, like we said. We listen, well, not a little bit, but we listen to the community a lot. You guys think we don't really listen to what the players want. We know what the players want. The players want a new expansive map. Well, a more expansive map for them to explore. We know that. We've heard it 1,000 times from you guys. But we're just really busy. Liam works on his own server. I only have, I think, 5 admins total that can build on the main server. So we don't really have time for that. Most of the time we're testing stuff. We don't have time for that. Whether it be we're testing guns, loot spawns, fixing bugs like the death bug. We don't have time for that in beta. In beta, it's strictly all bug fixes and balance changes. It also says that on the forum as well, as a kind of a spoiler. And release 1.0.0, after that for a very good amount of time, we're going to be working on expanding the map. New areas like for donors too, like a donor island, because this the Fallout world is now a continent, and we can expand out to islands around it now. But like I said, right now we're mainly concentrating on working on the server, not the map, so to speak. So like the food issue, if you think there's not enough food because there's not enough places in the map, that will be fixed later on because there will be more places added. And like I said, we do listen to the 2 players because also a player suggested an area where people couldn't PvP, but there could still be monsters, but it's kind of like an area to where they can like team up and kind of just get ready for their loot where there's no PvP, but it's low loot spawns. We listened to that idea. We actually put it in. This entire area here was made for that. So yeah, we do listen to the community. It's just that the way we go about doing what they say is time consuming. So, but we can't just jump right into it and just get it done for you guys. It takes time. We can't. There's a certain order of things that we have to do before we can do stuff. So we're sorry about that, guys. I want to say thanks to Magnum and KenDog for the recent donations. They've donated a good amount of money lately. We appreciate it. The server's life expectancy will be longer now, of course. The chances of actually getting the second server, the US server, because currently our current server's in the EU. We want to have 2 servers in the future, which will be a US and an EU server. And that's also a reason why we want to eliminate the plot thing, because I haven't said this yet, but we are going to be removing plots, but don't freak out. I know you guys are freaking out because you just heard me say that if you currently own a plot, you are anyways. Plot owners will be able to keep their plots when we remove the plot system, but new players won't be able to buy plots. Basically, the plots will become, the second you become vacant for more than 2 weeks, you'll get a 2-week notice saying, hey, you need to be on the server shortly, or we're going to remove the plot. In 2 weeks, if you're not on the server, then we remove the plot and everything in it is removed, and then the plot becomes vacant, and then we don't sell it anymore. It's dead. And then eventually, the idea is that once all the plots are dead, whether you sell them back or they get vacant and you get evicted from your plot, then we ended up, then eventually we'll have no plots left, and we can completely remove the plots world, eliminating tons of problems. So yeah, it's the problem that we don't like about plots, us admins, is because it's very time consuming for us. It takes a lot of time away from the server. When we could be fixing bugs and stuff, when we have to come sell you guys a plot and then add people to your plot, which is also a huge issue because people want to add people to their plot and then people steal from you. We can't get the items back for you because you added them to your plot. We can't. They would be mad at us. It's either they're mad at us or you're mad at us. So either way, we don't win. I understand that it's your plot and you bought it and that you have the items, but we have to go through the time to add him to the plot or her to the plot, and then have them steal items from you and further waste our time. Not waste our time, but spend a lot of time on plots rather than working on the server. And then when you say that someone stole from you, we have to get the items from them, and if they say they don't have the items, then where do the items go? And it just takes up a lot of time. So, like I said, we just don't like it. It's not an efficient way, and it's not automatic. We need an automatic system. We plan on switching to a tent system, to where you can get a block, and when you place the block in the Fallout world, it'll put a tent somewhere, and then that tent will have chests in it, so you'll be able to store your stuff in the tents. The tents will have like 3 chests or something. We don't really know. But if you look at the world, you guys might be thinking, wow, that's kind of stupid. Well, if you think about it, you can get multiple tents, and you could kind of make like DayZ, and this gets us closer and closer to being like DayZ, like we want to be. So when you get that close to it, it's good, because with a tent system, you'll be able to find little areas that are hidden in the map, like places that people wouldn't normally go to. Like, there's most of the map right now, the Fallout world's very expansive. Only about 10% of it is actually covered with human structures, maybe even less than that. If we go out here, you could find areas in the map that aren't even inhabited by buildings or anything. You could easily put down a tent right there, and under that little thing, I doubt anyone would find it. Eventually people would. I mean, there's a term for it called the longer the probability, if it has a very low probability of happening, aka finding the tent out in the middle of nowhere, and the more time that goes on, eventually someone will stumble upon it because of how much time was in between that time period, if that makes sense. But there's tons of areas to put your tents. Like, this is the inner part of the map, so of course I'm running into stuff left and right. But if I were to go somewhere in like this direction, there'd be this. Let's go around this. Gotta keep going up this way. Also, I'm just teleporting around. I'm not really lagging forward, if you're wondering. There's tons of areas like, well, this area would be a little more sneakier, but I could easily put like a tent by a floating, like right in here. You can go inside a little cave and put down your tent. There's tons of places to put your tents, and generally it's just going to be a better idea, because the plot system just isn't working. It's not automatic. It takes too much time. It's heavily slowing down the progress of this server. If you were to look at when we first had updates, we were pumping out updates every other day, or like every day. Right now we're pumping out updates like every 2 or 3 weeks, or not 2 or 3 weeks, every like 2 or 3 days. It's taking a very long time to fix updates, because when we're in the middle of fixing something, we have to go help you guys with the plots and whatever problems come along with those plots. So yeah, we're sorry about that, guys. This isn't a video to like I said, be mean to you guys, but that's just how it is, and none of the bugs that you guys liked exploiting were never meant to be there in the first place. So we're sorry about that, guys. We are listening to the community. Easy examples, like I showed you at that south near the spawn, that little nice no PvP area where it's just PvE, and we're listening to what you guys want. You guys want to make it to where you can get your health back when you have full hunger, so you start regenerating your health. We agree with you. We'll put that in because that's what the majority of you want, so that's what we're going to do. But you guys gotta remember, if you guys all want something, like, this server's supposed to be hard. If you guys all say, hey, the zombies are too hard, make them easier, we're not gonna make them easier because it's too hard for you. It's supposed to be a hardcore server, even though it's kind of easy for me, if you ask. I mean, it might just be really easy for me because I know where everything's at, like all the loot spawn locations, which I guess isn't fair. But I play as a hero, so I don't go around being a bandit and killing people. I prefer to help people out. So it's not like I'm abusing that power. But yeah, so we're sorry about that, guys. I hope I'll see you guys in future videos. As I said before, me and Liam will be starting up our From Ashes Let's Play again. However, since the world got deleted, we won't be where we left off, so we're kind of have to make up our items and try to get everything back to normal. The thumbnail may change for it slightly. I think I have an idea on how to get it back. So yeah. Again, guys, we're sorry. I'll talk to you guys next time. Please rate and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. And this is actually going to be like a weekly thing. Every Friday, we're going to have a news update. Now, this one isn't really a news update. It's just kind of like a flash thing to help me out with YouTube. And to just inform people like of an emergency state, because a lot of people don't like what's happening. We just want to inform them of why we're doing stuff, because many people ask, so this way we can just refer them to this video. But yeah, every Friday we're going to have a server video that'll go over the news. It'll be over player builds, because you can make builds and submit them in schematics or send us your worlds. We're going to be, every week we'll go in and like showcase the builds that people send us, the ideas that people come up with, new updates that are very important to the server, bug fixes, that kind of stuff, just anything in general. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. As usual, please rate and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys next time. See you around.